Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the first episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, the first season of Power Rangers to be produced by Hasbro. And I gotta say, if watching the first episode, it definitely feels like there's a bit more of a production value behind it compared to the past few seasons, which were done by Saban. I'm hoping that trend continues throughout the season, so that we can get back to some of the better seasons, like, say, RPM or Time Force, and stuff like that. But, the plot. Alright, so, the plot is basically that some corporation or whatever has this scientist kid who at a young age was able to tap into the power of the Morphin Grid, which longtime Power Rangers fans will recognize as being the source of the Power Rangers' power, and it has come up with a way to convert it into a renewable energy source, which the city, I can't remember if the city was named in the episode, in this first episode or not. Well, they plan on using like a big thing, a big storage tank. It's a storage tank in the Go Busters version, but they intend to use it as like a power station, utilizing power of the Morphin Grid to provide clean, renewable energy to the city. And the mayor is a bit concerned about that, which he voices, because he actively mentions how villains in the past, specifically naming Rita, Sledge, and Galvanax, have attempted to acquire the power of the Power Rangers, and that basically what this science kid is doing is basically giving it a physical form that could be very easily stolen. And that's a very legitimate concern. Back when the series first got announced and it revealed that the Morphin Grid would actually be a major plot point, I was interested to see how that would turn out, and this episode is certainly touching on that right away, and I love that. I also like how there were three candidates to become Power Rangers for this season, and then two of them ended up getting corrupted by this computer virus thing called Evox, and so the two of the candidates end up going into a coma while evil avatar versions of them are created that basically have their own Power Ranger powers, which of course are using some of the design elements from Go Busters. And I think that's interesting. And the fact that these characters were specifically selected after a rigorous training process, only for two of them to become corrupted, that's interesting. So right off the bat, we have evil Power Rangers by the end of two evil Power Rangers by the end of the episode, which then leaves the remaining candidate and then two other people who kind of happen to be there, and stuff happens. First, I'll talk about the Red, because he seemed to have been given a bit more focus in this episode, but not so much that it completely overshadows the others. It's revealed that he's the mayor's son, and he's a bit of a slacker who apparently spends pretty much all of his time just hanging out at a karate training stuff and playing video games, and just and there's a point where the mayor is upset with his son because he had set up this job interview that the son is just basically blowing off. And then when the son learns that his dad is going to this Grid Battle Force, which is where this Morphin Grid energy is being converted into clean energy, is being done. He wants to go along because he's heard that they've got awesome simulators, basically video games, and his dad's like, no, this is serious, just no. So of course the kid just sneaks in by copying his dad's visitor pass on his cell phone. The Red's kind of a selfish dude. I mean, when we're first introduced to him, he's in, like, karate training, but he's listening to, like, an MP3 player or something, so he's not even paying attention. And then the guy who's trying to give the lesson is like, oh, are we bothering you? You know, being sarcastic. He is a bit antagonistic towards the mayor's son. Devin. Devin is the mayor's son name. And so Devin and this other guy, Blaze, end up getting into a karate fight that is really only broken up when the mayor shows up to be like, hey, what's going on? And speaking of the karate place where this is all happening, it gives me, considering that it also seems to have a juice bar attached to it, it gave me major vibes regarding Ernie's Juice Bar from the youth center from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which, alright. So yeah, the mayor's son, he ends up sneaking into Grid Battle Force's headquarters, disguising himself as like just a lowly employee, but stuff happens. I'll get to that in a little bit. We're also introduced to this janitor, this kind of janitor girl who Zoe, if I remember, Zoe, who really wants to be like a higher ranking person because she wants to. She's excited. She wants to do something good for the community, but she's in a lowly position. She's given a little minor focus, but ends up becoming the yellow. And then we got the blue, who was the only member of the selected candidates to actually get his ranger powers without too much incident. So the red, while keeping hidden from his dad, who is inspecting the place, he ends up seeing this what looks like a snake virus make its way into the Morphin X, which is what the energy of the Morphin Grid is referred to. He sees this, reacts to it, and then the higher ups at the company is like, "Who the heck are you?" And he's like, He tells them about the virus. They do a scan for it, but they also apprehend him because he's not supposed to be there. And then, of course, when they're actually going to give the three ranger candidates their powers, the virus strikes and ends up corrupting two of them, and the future red ends up saving the blue by interrupting the thing. And then a fight scene ensues, and some other stuff happens. The two corrupted rangers try to eliminate their competition or whatever. But the scientist kid who had been able to tap into the Morphin Grid, he manages to stop the bad guys and imbue these three characters with the uncorrupted ranger power, so that they can fight against these dark rangers. And that's cool. It's pretty cool. It was hard. It was exciting. I was very excited while watching it. The show also introduced this pair of security guard characters. It's like kind of short lady who is very authoritarian, even though she's also somewhat bungling, and she's first introduced when the mayor arrives at Grid Battle Force, and she's completely incredulous as to whether or not he should be even there, because she doesn't even recognize the fact that he's the mayor until our partner, a slightly chubbier guy, and basically her comedic foil, mentions that fact, and it's like, "Oh, you're the mayor, sorry." They have some pretty funny scenes, so definitely want to see those. But overall, I feel that this series is probably going to be pretty good. I got a good feeling about this. The first episode definitely excited me. Definitely, I definitely want to see more. Let's see, anything else? I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Oh, the Blue Ranger, the one candidate for the Ranger powers that actually gets his powers, it's revealed that he the candidate for the Yellow Ranger were in a relationship, and he broke it off because rules. Because apparently Rangers aren't allowed to date. And so he ends up regretting it at the end of the episode when she becomes corrupted. It's like, I shouldn't have pushed it away. That was a pretty nice dynamic. But kind of overall, the way that the Rangers end up getting their powers kind of, in a sort of way, kind of reminds me of Jetman. How only one of the potential candidates to become a Jetman were actually given the powers, whereas the other candidates kind of just got them purely by chance. And Jetman was awesome, so I don't know if that was an intentional nod or if it's just a coincidence, but it definitely reminded me of Jetman, especially considering that the one candidate was in a relationship with another potential candidate before stuff went wrong. That was also an element of Jetman. Also, at the end of the episode, it's revealed that the Blue Ranger is also the son of the person in charge of the whole thing. And she knows that the three Rangers have their Ranger powers. And she, of course, wants their identities to be kept a secret, even before the whole virus corruption thing. So, yeah. Check it out if you can. I really liked it. I thought the production value was quite good. I felt that there was a decent amount of character development for the three main characters, as well as the three evil Rangers, and a couple other characters that'll, I'm sure, will show up later. So, until next time, this has been me, ProtoMet. See ya!